thank you very much, traveling all the way from China. And it's a pleasure to host you here at the summit. And you know, we have a diverse crowd listening to us or watching us on video. Would you mind a little bit tell the people over here what is NewOriental?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I think I've been in this country 15 years ago, so I come to this land 15 years later, so it's quite an honor and opportunity. NewOriental, the name has been widely spoken in the education technology sector, particularly in China, and more in the overseas market. But obviously, I think we still need to clarify what we are doing. So in terms of our service, we provide the most extensive, we brand it as a one-stop educational service provider to the Chinese students. We are after school, we are not state school. Although we use the word school, we are not the proper day school. We work as the after-school tutoring services to millions of students. Last year, we have over 3 million student enrollments. We started our business by test preparation 26 years ago. Gradually, we get into K-12 business as well. And now today, K-12 is our biggest business sector. But still, we hold very truly that English language learning, where we started our business 26 years ago, as our strength. So if you talk about Chinese parents, then most of them will associate our name to English language learning, although our biggest revenue shares from K-12. So that's why we want to do that in both hands. On one hand, we want to strengthen our brand and our strategy in English language learning. Meanwhile, we want to do more and more online learning or technology in the K-12 sector as well. So one-stop service, English is our strength, but we are providing all subject learning, including from the kindergarten. So we try to focus the learning path for, from age 3 to 35, which in our term, that's the growing path for a human's life. Although China is getting old now, before it's getting rich, some may say, we have many people at the retirement age has growing bigger and bigger. Some approaching us saying that, hey, you should do something in terms of the university for the senior citizens, but we are clear, we are not doing that. Because China market is so huge, we want to focus what we are doing now. Because what we're doing right now is already very extensive. And that's the challenge for a big organization for NewOriental. So that's what we are doing.
Yeah, we know that NewOriental is big. Can you give us some numbers so we will understand the magnitude? Because maybe our imagination doesn't take us that far. How you are studied also on the New York Stock Exchange, correct? Mm-hmm. What's your market cap today? Or some other numbers that you can maybe share with us?
Market capitalization, I checked today, we are the second largest in the world, behind the TAL. Yeah, so we have roughly about, I think, $14 billion market capitalization. But in terms of student enrollments, we have over 3 million enrollments, bigger than TAL. And we have 1,200 learning centers across nearly 80 cities in China. So except Tibet, some other regions in the West, so we have our footprints in all the cities and regions in China. And we have 65,000 employees, which is a massive number. And we want to try to cut that down by using technology, right? I don't think we can continuously grow at 20 or 30% year on year if we have that large number of employees. And we have over 35,000 teachers. So that's our core assets. So we believe that teacher is the most precious asset that we have. Whatever content you have, what kind of technology you want to use, at the end of the day, we firmly believe that teacher's role cannot be easily replaced. Students need the inspiration coming to us, and we need to inspire them, we need to guide them. I think that's pretty much in the philosophy of Chinese education. This is one of the most important things that the Chinese families are paying attention to. And how, after they spending long hours in state school, they still come to us. Why they come to us? So what can we deliver on top of that within a relatively short period of time? So that's the biggest challenge.
So you mentioned that NewOriental is a 26-year-old.
Yes.
And the last 4 or 5 years have been very, very, I would say, hectic in everything like connecting technology. And I know that you are very active over there. What are the technologies that you implemented lately in the last 3 or 4 years to make you scalable and do your business better?
Technology is one of the things that every people come here talk about. And I think that's one of the main reasons I'm here, because Israeli company is renowned for its innovation, its focus, it's very agile. You've got expertise, we've got the market. And then what we come here is looking for the high quality assets that we think can be easily applicably used in the China market. 26 years ago, there was no internet, even in China. And now we set up our online learning businesses back in 2010. We are one of the earliest first movers in the market, and also one of the few that's still profitable in the sector. People talk a lot about VIPK, the unicorn, this and that. They are big, they are growing fast, but they're still trying to figure out the business model, how to make money. So that's a challenge. For NewOriental, we're big, we are stable, we have been witnessing that rocket growth in the online sector. We may miss some of the chances, but obviously we are surely and steadily, we build up a business model for online. So that's why we bring that online business units to get listed in Hong Kong end of March. So we want to reshuffle, reorganize, restructure our online learning by focusing on that purely online learning, which is Koolearn, NewOriental online learning platform. But every business sector within NewOriental, from kindergarten, primary, secondary, after-school tutoring, international study consulting, we cover more and more technology. It's kind of blended learning, we firmly believe. We are known as the brick and mortar. We started our businesses, but we can't resist the technology. That's why we're embracing the technology. You come here, and we set up the AI Research Institute within our own organization to do some experiments to see how we can make use of this technology to really effectively help students in our classroom to achieve their goals that can be measured and assessed.
So if you look into the future, what will be the vision for NewOriental? I will not say like next 10 years, very tangible, like next couple of years or 3 years, and what is your vision and what maybe makes you also different from others in that industry?
Yeah, so in this sector, we talk a lot about strategy. And end of May is our fiscal year, the end of the year for NewOriental. We talk a lot about the strategy. And we complain from time to time why we change the mid of the year and then the strategy changes. Why? Because if the strategy, you have to stick on it at least 3 years, right? You don't easily be changed. But I think we need to balance it out. Strategy, you need to have the strategy, but because of the market, because of the competitiveness in the China market, you have to be flexible, to be agile, to respond to the market needs. So in terms of what we believe, I think blended learning is quite important. Online learning more and more, especially for high school, university graduates, they tend to study on their own under some good guidelines that be and tailor-made by NewOriental. But for young kids, we want them, especially between kindergarten till primary school age, we want them to be more exposed to the skills, the holistic, the whole person education, critical thinking, the emotional intelligence, the mindset to think, and also the empathy, the resilience we help them to build is not academic. But if they go to the middle school and high school, although all parents agree that the interpersonal skills, how you train your child to be resilient, to be agile, to be more responsive to the challenges in the future society are important, but sorry, unfortunately, we don't have the time because they have to face the Gaokao. So we have to meet the first order. If the students come to us, why they come to us? they want the score, they want the marks, we can give them at the high school stage. But we try to encourage, to educate the parents. You do have the time when your children at the kindergarten, at the primary, we know that we are compete your time for your students, but we can offer. But when you're in high school, we have to help you to succeed. Once you get what you have, once you get opportunity in universities, then we can help you to explore a wider world. So that's why we have a new slogan for NewOriental, which is a better you, a bigger world. So we want you be a better version of yourself so that you have the opportunity to see the world, to experience, to challenge, to engage with the rest of the world. So I think it's globalized. We need to be more personalized learning, adaptive learning by using technology. The big question here is the gap, how you link all this up. Technology is quite important. How you interact between technology and teacher. We want to reinforce or to redefine the role for teachers under the context of new technology. We are doing experiment together with you guys sitting here so that we can find out a way. I don't have an answer for that, but I think that's the goal that we are all aiming for.
Well, I must admit that this is the first time I hear someone from China speaking with us on things that are so open. So I very much, appreciate the fact, and that usually we hear about technology, and understand that the values are very important to you. I also remember the visit that we had a couple of years ago, and so my last question for you will be: I'm curious, the program that you've done over there, Pop Kids. What's the reason for you to change, to select this name, and what is the vision of this program? And this will be our last question for today.
So the Pop Kids is our brand name, used to be our brand name, providing after-school tutoring all subjects, not only English, but Chinese, maths, and other subjects to students aged between 6 and 12, mainly between the primary school. And then we changed that by using the primary and the secondary, all subjects. We do not give them a specific, separate brand. It's called Pop Kids. I mean, that reflects the strategy. If NewOriental is such a strong brand name, why we want to have that titles? So it's not playing to our strengths. So we want to unify, and that send out a message that we want to, standardize our process, standardize the teaching quality, standardize the technology platform, because we are so extensive. I mean, there's so many departments, the working in silos. I think that's the biggest challenge to each and every big organization in the world. So we will try to all line them up to share the resources, so to coordinate better. So my role is really to cut across all these business units. If I see a good quality Israeli company here, so I want to use your product, not only for the primary, but also for secondary probably, and also for our other business units, rather than we have different people talking to various sorts of people, and then we pay several times or differently to the same vendor, which is not good. So that's why we unify the brand. So you will not see a Pop Kids in primary, you will not see You Can in the secondary. We call them the NewOriental all subject learning. That's our new brand. So we want to unify, to send out the message. That's one message. The second message is that we have the best quality teacher. If you differentiate NewOriental and the rest of our competitors, and we really want to hold the true value of teacher at the core. So that's another message. And thirdly, we want to use the technology-driven education. So that's many organizations speaking of the same language, but how? The question is how. So we want to use that to improve. So that's why we're here.
Well, thank you very much for traveling all the way from China. And probably the next time we'll meet will be at the GT or the GES later this year. Thank you very much for coming over. Thank you.
Thank you very much, both.